Good day. I am pleased to welcome you to this edition of the program, Kaduna Electric Watch, a program sponsored by Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company to inform, educate, and enlighten the viewers on the operations of the company in particular and the happenings in the Nigerian electricity industries in general. The program also provides our customers with the opportunity to engage with us with the view to ensuring more efficiency in service delivery. I am your host, Asma'u Muhammad, standing in for Hussein Abdullahi, who is on a well-deserved vacation. The fact remains that energy, in this case power, is a critical element in the development of any society. Perhaps this explains the unwavering commitment of the management of Kaduna Electric to improving the quality of the service to the customers. We have made progress in every aspect of the business. We have improved the quality of power supply and the number of hours the power is being supplied to our customers. We have significantly reduced downtime in our franchise areas. We have made strides in metering, with about 56,000 meters already supplied to our customers in the last 2 years. What more evidence do one need to prove the commitment of Kaduna Electric to customer satisfaction and efficiency in service delivery? We have not gotten to where we want to or shall be yet, but definitely we are marching on. In today's edition of the program, we shall bring you the concluding part of the interview with Engineer Lawan Lawan, the Chief Compliance Officer of the company. We shall also bring you some safety tips, most especially now that we are deep into the rainy season. Our Head of Group Health, Safety and Environment, Mr. John Clayton Adamu, is here to share his experience with us. Last but not the least, we have a special report on the awards bestowed on some loyal customers by the management of the Info Strategy, the promoters of iRecharge.ng. This is one of the innovative solutions adopted by the Kaduna Electric to enable our customers settle their electricity bills or purchase electricity token at the comforts of their homes and offices. The partnership between Kaduna Electric and iRecharge.ng is definitely rewarding. These renowned global online payment channels recently organized a modest thank you get-together for loyal customers. This and many more shall come your way after the electricity news by Rukaya Hamisu. Over to you, Rukaya.
Thank you, Asma'u. Here is the news. First, the major items. Kaduna Electric Chairman charged captains of industries to help in bringing an end to the current security challenges in the parts of the country. Communities in southern parts of Kaduna metropolis have been called upon to be more vigilant as cases of vandalism of power supply equipment resurface. Here is the news in full. The Chairman, Board of Directors of Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company, Alhaji Yusuf Hamisu Abubakar, has lent his voice to ongoing campaign against armed banditry, robbery, cattle rustling, and all forms of violent crimes, with a call on the business community to support the efforts of the government aimed at bringing an end to the current security challenges bedeviling the country. Alhaji Yusuf Hamisu Abubakar made the call in Kaduna last week during a maiden edition of the Institute of Directors of Nigeria Kaduna members' evening dinner. He noted that the security challenges in parts of Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kaduna State, three of the four franchise states of Kaduna Electric, is not only adversely affecting the operations of the electricity distribution company, but also all business in the area are suffering, and called on captains of industries and the business community as a whole to lend their support to the government campaigns aimed at creating peaceful and conducive atmosphere for the business to flourish. Alhaji Yusuf Hamisu Abubakar, who doubled as the chairman of the occasion, charged members of the Institute of Directors Nigeria to live above board and continue to raise the standard of corporate governance in both the private and public sector. Earlier, the president and chairman of the Governing Council, Institute of Directors, Nigeria, Alhaji Ahmad Rufai Muhammad, disclosed that the Kaduna Members Evening and Dinner is part of the events lined up institute to further create awareness on good corporate governance and developing the capacity of directors across the country. He congratulated the Abuja Zone of Institute led by Mr. Victor Alonge for organizing the events. High point of the event was a presentation by a renowned financial expert and a fellow of the institute, Alhaji Shuaibu Idris, with the theme Networking and Building Bridge using business member organization platforms. The head corporate communications of Kaduna Electric, Abdulaziz Abdullahi, has called on communities on the southern part of Kaduna metropolis to be more vigilant while lamenting the increasing gale of vandalism of power supply assets lately. According to him, about 10 distribution substations were vandalized in the last month in Barnawa area office of the company alone. Alhaji Abdulaziz Abdullahi stated that there is currently a syndicate operating around Barnawa, Narai, Sabon Tesha, Television, as well as Kachia Kafanchan axis, and appealed to communities in the southern flank of the metropolis and vigilante groups to be more vigilant. In a related development, a yet-to-be-identified middle-aged man was last Saturday, 4th of August 2018, electrocuted while trying to vandalize power supply equipment belonging to Kaduna Electric at Samari Distribution Substation, Ungwanyalwa Television, Kaduna. A resident of the area who identified himself as Mr. Simon Dogo disclosed that the incident occurred at about 4 a.m. on Saturday when the victim attempted to remove cable in the distribution substation. He succeeded in removing one of the armored cables. Perhaps it was in an attempt to remove the second and the third one that he met his untimely death. Mr. Simon stated, when our correspondent visited the scene, the lifeless body of the suspect vandal was seen lying on the ground with injuries on his head and face. It will also be recalled that the neighboring Shamaki distribution substation in the same community was also vandalized a day earlier, obviously by the same syndicate. That is the news. Over to you, Asma'u, for the rest of the program.
The Loyalty Reward Program is aimed at presenting reward packages to customers for their prompt settlement of bills using the company's electronic platform, iRecharge, POS, Internet, among others, as well as a revolution in customer service experience which did not leave deserving staff out of the incentives for the hard work. The head of commercial, Kaduna Electric, Murtala Bello, said the event, which will be organized monthly, plans to reward its customers for being loyal and for doing business with the company, and advised the customers to use the company's electronic platforms for ease and to participate in the program by paying their bill promptly to enable the company serve them better.
Well, basically today we're here to reward our loyal customers for being loyal to us, for doing business with us. We started a loyalty reward program this month, basically to reward our customers who pay their bills promptly and on time, who also utilize our various payment channels, the web, the SMSs, and also our POS, on-field POS devices. So we try to do that to discourage people from a lot of the queues that we experience in our cash offices, and also to increase the payment convenience for our customers across our franchise states. So it's more or less like a scheme where we reward people for prompt payment of their bills via any of these mediums, to again, besides convenience for them, we also reward them, to ensure greater penetration and usage of those devices. So that's basically what we're doing today. We intend to have this kind of programs every month for customers who have paid their bills, staff who by driving this process, by driving the usage of these devices, also ensure high revenues via our customers. So we're actually rewarding both our internal and our external customers, but this is something we hope to continue on a monthly basis, and they will also firm up as we go along. So my advice to customers is, one, please pay your bills promptly. It's key, it's very important for us to serve you better. A lot of the issues we're experiencing is, number one, the fact that we're not getting a lot of our payments through our customers from services that they've enjoyed or services we've rendered to them. So I encourage our customers to pay up their bills promptly for us to serve them better. And then again, additionally, to pay up using any of these mediums, I recharge through our POS devices or through our web or SMS-based platforms. And again, by doing that, they stand a chance of winning any of our prizes, ranging from payment of their next month's bill free, and then winning tokens, winning vouchers, and also winning as smartphones and some other gadgets. So I encourage our customers to take advantage of these opportunities available to them to make payments promptly and also stand a chance of getting some juicy rewards.
Also in his remarks, the head corporate communications of the company, Abdulaziz Abdullahi, explained that the reward packages, which include incentive for prompt settlement of bill, is in compliance with the proposed 10-year tariff plan of the power sector, which is not only about review of electricity tariff, but also about taking a holistic review of the company's relationship with their customers and taking customer service to the next level.
Rendering to us, and also for honoring our loyal customers and our deserving staff. Thank you very much, and we look forward to the next event coming up, like we said, at the end of the month. Thank you very much for coming.
Highlights of the event include presentation of awards to the selected customers and deserving staff.
Indeed, the increasing cases of vandalism of power supply assets is one of the hindrances to steady power supply. Most often than not, these unpatriotic elements put our customers and communities in extended darkness just to satisfy their greeds. It now behoves on all stakeholders to join hands in fighting these menaces. Here is the concluding part of the interview with the Chief Compliance Officer of Kaduna Electric, Engineer Lawan. Please don't go away.
Sir, it's my pleasure to have you on the program Kaduna Electric Watch.
My pleasure to be here too. Thank you.
One term that is common today in the power sector is energy theft. What is energy theft and what are the effects of energy theft to service delivery?
So energy theft can be categorized into about three classes. There's the pure energy theft of hooking onto cables and conductors of a service provider to consume energy unknowingly by the service provider. This is clear energy theft, which is a criminal offense and is prosecutable. Then there's also energy theft by denying the service provider full information in terms of the consumption by the customer, or hooking on at periods where the service provider is unaware. So the consumer pays for part of his bills, and some parts they're basically been stolen. Yet again, there is the issue about payment not on time. Energies that are being consumed and unnecessarily being delayed can basically be categorized under theft, because there's interest on energies that we buy from the generators, and therefore by the time that the full cost is not paid for by the consumer, the the costs are being borne by the service provider, and that portion is basically categorized as delinquency or energy theft if it is on purpose. Energy theft is a huge drain on our revenues and resources. It takes a lot of our effort to ensure that we recover some part of our revenues due to energy theft. It also drains a lot of our equipment, the lifetime of our equipment. It spoils a lot of our equipment, especially our meters. So it is a very sad thing for us to be dealing with energy theft in this time. But it's a cat and mouse thing that we will continue to pursue energy theft perpetrators, and we are recording a lot of successes. We are prosecuting, and luckily the judiciary has been quite helpful. They are jailing people, they are fining people for energy theft. I will continue to provide evidences and occurrences where we get all the evidences to prosecute such people, because it is a very sad anomaly for the market that a person will consume energy and not pay for. So energy theft is really a big problem on our hands.
In this case, both the service providers and the customers need to work together to bring an end to this matter.
Yes, our customers are the other side of the swing. Our customers owe it as a sense of obligation to ensure that whenever they encounter any energy theft perpetrated by somebody close to them, or even on the streets, that they report cases of energy theft, because ultimately they're the ones that lose as much as the company. I mean, if somebody steals energy and at the end of the day spoils your transformer, and it takes our company 6 hours to even come and fix it, I mean, that's inconvenience that you could have done away with if you had told the service provider. So we are very happy with the amount of information that our consumers are now sending to the company where they see energy theft, and on daily basis we get people that are able to text or email or send us WhatsApp message that I mean, their neighbor or somebody on the street is stealing energy. I mean, industries that we thought were responsible, we would have video coverages of people that are stealing energy, and we have been able to prosecute them. So it has been a very good collaboration between our customers and us, and day in, day out, we are having people that are stealing energy being brought out into the limelight, and we take it upon ourselves to prosecute them and to also educate them on the reason why the customers should continue to provide information, because as much as we'll gain in revenue, the customer will also gain in the convenience that he would have had the energy theft gone to become something else. So we are happy with the collaboration with our customers.
Thank you. Are there penalties for energy theft?
Yes, we are happy with the new regulation by the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission of that deals with electricity theft and bypasses and destroying of facilities by customers or consumers. So we now have a stiffer penalty against electricity theft. We have stiffer penalties for breaking of our meters or tampering with our meters, and I mean, it's now an obligation. We ensure that reconnection fees are also promptly collected. So this has helped us in no small measure to ensure that customers or consumers that have tampered with our facilities promptly levied, and then we ensure that they promptly pay such levies.
A customer, Mr. Daniel Karatu from Kalmazo, said he has finished his house and wants electricity connected to his house. How does he go about it?
Okay, so I would suggest to Mr. Daniel that the first point of call is our service center, where he and the electrical contractor that might have wired his premises would go and sign on what we call the electricity connection form at any of our service centers. And the form states all the obligations of the customer and our obligation as well to provide him with service. He fills the form and it is passed on to the company headquarters, where we provide him with the necessary connections, determination of his tariff classification, as well as any other issue that we would have seen after due diligence at his premises. Thereafter, we connect him based on the calculation of his ability to draw on to the transformer and the rest of the technical parameters. So I suggest to Mr. Daniel to go to the service center in his area on the Barna area office, and he will be able to have that form and his contractor will be able to go back and forth with our company to ensure that he gets the service as at when due.
Welcome back. Given the fact that we are deep into the wet season, we deemed it appropriate to share some safety tips with you, our customers, and the general public. The safety of every one of us is not only our concern always, but it's also the guiding philosophy of Kaduna Electric. Here is Mr. J.C. Adam.
Mr. John Adamu, what are the major safety concerns now that we are in the rainy season?
Thank you. Rainy season is characterized, is characterized with heavy rain and windstorm that causes a lot of damage to power lines. And indeed, the consequences of these damages will certainly affect the consumption, will affect and cause a lot of harm and damages if precautions are not adequately taken. So precisely if there is a heavy rain, it will cause a lot of high voltage. And indeed, if there's a high voltage, the surge will increase. And then a lot of faults will occur, like short circuit faults, and then even open circuit faults. And they will cause sometimes the lines to drop, to fall down. And then if the line fell down, it will certainly, if somebody is very close, could be animal, could be man, once there is contact, certainly that person or that animal will be affected. So precisely, those are just some of the effects of the rainy season. And then fire could occur sometimes.
Okay, thank you very much. What are the necessary precautionary measures to be observed?
As I said, precautionary measures must be observed because once, excuse me, whoever that has life should not compromise safety. And then in most of the times, if precautionary measures are not adequately observed, like when a line fell on the ground, you shouldn't assume that that line is dead until it is certified by the control authority that that line is dead. So you don't tamper, you don't get close to that line or any energized equipment. So, and then as it is, this is rainy season that, a lot of trees that grows up have any contact with the line automatically, since water is a good conductor, the lines will be energized, or the tree will be energized, and anyone that has contact with that lines or with that tree will be electrocuted or have severe shock. And in that regard, it is necessary that, as I said, once the line is underground, we don't assume that that line is dead, and then in no circumstances should you climb a tree, maybe to trim it without adequate permit from the control room or from the station that is actually making supply to that particular area. Because once that is not done, as I said, any contact with the tree, indeed, you will be electrocuted. So adequate measures must be taken. And if there is a fault, what we are expected to do is to call the nearby service center or any Kaduna Electric office, so that measures will be taken, so that qualified engineer will be called upon to go and amend that fault. You shouldn't call somebody who is just like, say, the people like NEPA 2 or any other person who has not been given that training to tamper with the line, because there's no second chance. So basically, adequate measures must be taken to avoid accident in any way.
Okay, thank you. What advice or appeal do you have to our customers out there?
The appeal is that, as I said, some of these causes are natural. They are not man-made. So if there is a power surge or power outage, you are not supposed to get close to the line. Instead, you adequately report that fault to the appropriate authority, so that measures will be taken for the fault to be amended. And as I said, if a line is on the ground, you don't assume that that line is dead. You should, at least, if possible, you barricade that area, so that maybe ignorant people, small children, will not get close to that place and get affected in any way. So, and then, as I said, trees close to the power lines should be trimmed. But then, if you are not certified, if you observe a tree as a customer, you observe a tree close to the line, you are supposed to report to the nearest Kaduna Electric office, so that adequate measure will be taken. Qualified tree trimmers will be drawn, so that the trees will be adequately cut, so that they will not have any more contact with the line.
Thank you very much for having you on this program.
Thank you.
This is where we shall draw the curtain in this edition of the program. On behalf of my colleagues in the Corporate Communications Department and the production crew, do have a wonderful time.